G6, like a G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6, like a G6, like a G6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6.
So I've been using this phone for the last little bit, close to about a month and a half now. And I just wanted to actually just keep prolonged use just to see how this thing is actually going to hold up over time, because if you haven't seen any of my previous videos on this, these series phones by LG hasn't really been the most positive experiences that I've seen on a mobile devices. So here we go. So here's the review on this LG G6. So right out the box, the display looks really good. It's not an AMOLED display, it's an IPS display, but it's honestly very vibrant. I really do like the colors. The overall build on this phone is great. I've honestly managed not to get any scratches on this thing. Sorry, Alan, if you're watching this, but I haven't gotten any scratches on mine, so I don't have to worry about sending mine back. But this mixture of Gorilla Glass 3, 4, and 5 all over this thing seems to somehow work. I don't even have a screen protector or anything like that. I just have a case that I put mine in. I've just got the Spigen case, and it serves me well. Anytime I use the phone, I typically have it in the case, but so far no scratches. So the phone is a little bit thick. It's thicker than a lot of the new flagships, but I guess for a good reason, because that curve on the back there gives you a good little bit of comfort. Yeah, but overall, I do like the way this feels. So let's go ahead and get into the specs. So with this phone, you do get, once again, a 5.7 inch 2K display with a resolution of 1440 by 2880, which is 561 ppi. 4 gigs of RAM, 2 dual 13 megapixel cameras, one being wide angle. Your front facing or selfie cam is 5 megapixels. You have, once again, I did mention 4 gigs of RAM, USB-C. You also have quick charge 3.0. You have a headphone jack. And so let's get into that. So that's pretty much the general specs of this device. So what's the experience like? What is it like using this phone? So overall, like the software experience, it's fluid. No complaints really. Only drawback I have really with the software is when I'm trying to send text messages every now and then, not necessarily just text, but MMS, picture messages. Sometimes they just won't go through. So I also went and tried to change the APN settings. Didn't really help much. So it wasn't an APN issue. If it was an APN issue, if I tried to send a picture message, none would go through. But sometimes it goes through, sometimes it doesn't. So it can't make up its mind. Other than that, those are really the major software gripes I've had with this thing. I haven't really had lag. I hear that lag story around the internet. I guess because I have the T-Mobile variant. I understand TK said that he had lag issues with his G6, and I know it all really depends on what you classify as lag. For me, lag is just like that heavy lag that you open up your app, you open up the phone, and then your screen takes a while trying to load stuff. Like the apps just pop in individually, but this, nah, I haven't had any issues with that at all. So watching videos and everything looks good because this display actually looks pretty good. It has that 18.5 by 9 aspect ratio, so you just have a really tall display. However, not every app supports it, so that's kind of the setback. So it's not like Samsung where they will crop the screen to zoom into it so they crop to fit. This doesn't have a crop to fit option, so LG, send an update or something for that because we need it. But other than that, the sound quality is pretty good. It's not the best, it's not the worst, so it's kind of in the middle. It's average. So that little one bottom speaker is okay. It's it is what it is. It's not front-facing speakers. I would appreciate it if they put front-facing speakers, but I'm not complaining at the overall package because LG really came with it this year with this G6. With the software, the build, all of that looks good. Now let's come down to the battery life. Battery life on this thing, woo! Battery life is actually kind of, on my side, it's actually kind of poor. Poor to average. I get maybe about 3.5, maybe 4 hours at best screen on time. And in most cases, I'm not really using it a lot. I just have it on my desk at work. It's just sitting out there on the table and not doing anything. And by the time, and I do have the always on display on. So, I mean, I understand that can take some battery life, but it doesn't do that on the S8 is bad. And here's also another thing I noticed with the battery. If you go down to the settings menu, typically anytime I go to the settings menu and I check the battery life there, it says like something like 5 hours or so, sometimes 4.5. But I tend to use the GSAM battery monitor app, which across the board on every device that I've used has been pretty accurate and it's matched. This is the only phone that I've seen that there was that kind of a discrepancy. And I don't know why, but I know I'm not getting 5 hours of screen on time out of this thing. I know what 5 hours of screen on time feels like, so I don't trust the native battery usage monitor app in the settings menu on this phone. So be wary about that. Other than that, this phone has been a solid performer. Like, I haven't really used it for many games, but I will probably do more game tests with that new Injustice 2 came out. There's been some reports that it doesn't work well on the Samsung Galaxy S8 or S8 Plus, but it works well on the iPhone. So I'm actually going to probably do a test on this. So stay tuned for that video. But overall, I haven't really done a lot of gaming, but for everything that I need it for, social media, communicating, sending emails, watching YouTube video, watching Netflix, anything like that, it's fine. No issues. But so I've taken a few camera shots here, so I'm going to go ahead and roll through that camera footage, and I'm actually going to be back with the conclusion to my final impressions with this device. So stay tuned. Well, so all in all with this phone, I think it's a winner. It definitely has my recommendation. If you are considering a phone for the price, it is, T-Mobile used to have a deal. They just cut that off where it was a buy one, get one. And T-Mobile, I believe, had it at $500 or so. At one point, it was on sale for like $500. So if you're considering a flagship, this was like a no-brainer. Aside from one aspect for me, that battery, but it does charge fast. So for me, I sometimes find myself charging this phone like twice a day. But from the software experience, LG has really come up a long way from what I used to use on other devices like the G4 and the G2 that I've had. I didn't get the G5. But the LG software has actually come a very long way from where it used to be. And it definitely has my recommendation because you have the option, as before, that's not new, you have the option to change some of the software keys. You can put the software keys where you want them. You have the ability to customize different things, different aspects of the phone. Like even for the always on display, I have my name there. So, just like I think that's LG's thing, is your signature. It's not really your signature, but you have the ability to put your name in the always on display. And so I thought that was kind of cool. So they do have some software things that I do really like with this phone. and I really like what LG is doing, and I'm looking forward to what else LG is going to be putting out in the next year, whatever they call this next model up, the G7. I assume they're going to stick with the same line, but this is really a step in the right direction, and I'm honestly looking forward to it. So all in all, my final rating on this phone, I'm going to go ahead and give this thing a good solid 8.5. This phone, it basically does everything that you need to do. It has quick charging. It has a great quality screen. Speaker's good. Cameras are phenomenal. Like, I just rolled some of the footage here. Every time I take a picture, I'm just like, okay, good job, LG. This could be, as far as the phones that I have, between this and the Pixel, is what I'll probably go to for using as a dedicated phone camera. If I had to go grab a phone, I know I'm going to take some pictures, do either this or that. The S8 right now, focusing issues. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. But I appreciate you sticking around and rocking with Rakama. So put any comments down below. Any comments or videos that you want to see with this compared to something else, or any thoughts on your G6, or if you have an experience with the G6 that you want to share or discuss, feel free to put that in the comments down below. And stay tuned for more footage or more videos from my channel, and subscribe. Take care.